I'm all good.
All right.
All right, do you want to give us like one of those, I don't know what they do, like a countdown or something, or just start recording?
It's already recording.
Okay.
We're good, yeah.
All right.
Welcome everyone to our Republican debate. I'm your host, Jake, from the American Jewish Congress, and I am joined by no one. We would like to welcome former President James Tarskin and Senator Mike Lewis. All right. For tonight's debate, candidates will have 1 minute for an introduction. We will then pose questions submitted by interest groups. Candidates will have 1 minute to answer each question and be permitted a short, no more than 1 minute rebuttal. If a candidate is having difficulty waiting until it is their turn, is creating a chaotic atmosphere, or the debate gets out of hand in any way, time may be deducted from their response and rebuttal times. Candidates will alternate answering questions first, beginning with a coin toss to determine who will go first, giving their opening statement. The debate will end with each side getting a 2 minute closing.
Flip a key. Does anybody have a penny or a coin on? No. All right, hang on, sorry. Did not think about the coin. Let one former president call it.
All right, heads or tails?
Heads.
All right, you're first.
Interesting. Alright. Hello everyone. You may know me as James Tarskin. You may also know me as a former president. But now what I'm here today to announce is my future candidacy. I look forward to turning over a new leaf and starting a revolution in our American government. For too long, we've been putting band-aids on lots of issues that have been affecting our country as a whole. But now, more than ever, it's time to put stitches on these issues. We need to really get down into what affects our American people and our government and fix them. I'm talking about economic prosperity, such as lower taxes and helping out businesses, a gun policy reformation, as long as an immigration policy process. And with this, I believe that you at the polls voting for me will help turn over a new leaf for our American government. Thank you.
All right.
Hi, I'm Mike Lewis, an American senator, and I plan on running against Tarskin because I believe that I can do better. I plan on lowering taxes, having a foreign policy, and protecting the Second Amendment.
All right. On to the questions. We have the first one from the American Jewish Congress. Do you believe that everyone, no matter what, should have a platform to voice their opinion?
I definitely feel very, very strongly about this, especially in our Constitution and how our country was made. Just freedom of speech is a general right everyone should have, no matter what. That could mean protest, that could mean social media, and just any other platform. So I highly encourage everyone to take a stand for what they believe in, no matter what. Me personally, it doesn't even matter if you're Democratic or Republican or Independent. I want everyone to be able to voice their opinions freely, no matter what. Because our American people, we always have something to say, and that's how this country's foundation was built upon. And we can really make sure everyone's opinions are voiced. So just let people say what they gotta say.
All right.
Yes, I believe in free speech, although I also believe that there's repercussions for what you say. I think that as a First Amendment, the freedom of speech is necessary to allow anybody to speak their opinion.
All right. On to the next question from the same group. Do you think we should provide $1 billion to rebuild Israel's Iron Dome, which will protect them from terrorist missile attacks?
I definitely feel as our duties as Americans, we are one of the strongest nations in the world, one of the great leading powers, and for a very long time. And with that, I feel it is our role and it is our privilege to be able to help other countries. I say yes on this issue because when it comes to just helping the other guy, helping the underdog, and people that are marginalized and just being attacked, I definitely feel that any way, shape, or form that we can protect these people, physical or not, would definitely be very helpful. Not only for our morale, but for theirs as well. And hopefully we can strengthen bond between other countries.
Thank you.
Personally, I believe that $5 billion could be spent better somewhere else,
1 billion.
such as on healthcare or other issues. That's it.
All right, now on to some questions from Pro-Choice America. Some people say that women's rights and reproductive rights go hand in hand. How do you make sure women's rights advance in society along with reproductive right issues?
Alright. Especially in recent events such as states banning abortion and whatnot, I definitely feel that although the American government doesn't have too much to say, what I believe is that something about our country is that we have separate states. And with that, I believe that states should be able to make their own decisions on whether to ban abortion or not. And women's rights is obviously a big part. And obviously, I want to have rights for everybody. And then with abortion, it is slightly different, but in that sense, states can definitely be able to think about what their state needs rather than the U.S. trying to do things and whatnot.
I believe that everybody deserves to be treated the same, and I believe in women's rights. But on the other hand, I do think for abortion it depends, case to case. I think states should be in control over abortion laws.
Start with him this time.
We're switching up. You will now start. So, if you were elected, what is the first thing for you to do in order to advance women's rights or any human rights?
The first thing I would do is I would make sure that the laws are enforced, and I would add on some laws to make sure that people are treated equally and that are protected by the law.
I definitely have a strong opinion about this, and what I mean by this is all of our rights are important. We need to make sure people are protected, and as being able to have the chair as President of the United States, this gives me a lot more freedom, but not only that, but the people a lot more freedom. For I can really listen to the people and I can voice their opinions, and not only just voicing their opinions, but also changing things if they're needed. So if I were to become president, the first thing I would do for human rights and women's rights is really get down to what everybody needs, to what the American people need. Because we need to focus on how our government treats our people, and giving rights to everyone is very crucial.
All right, switching over to questions from PETA now. What strategies will you use to ensure lab animal rights?
I will enforce the Animals Protection Act and add on to it to make sure that lab animals are treated fairly and that they aren't damaged too much during experiments.
What do you mean by damaged?
Harmed by chemicals and other products.
Thank you.
Now, although I can't really say for what testing has done for our products and whatnot, I know it, for better or for worse, I know it has come a long way in how we affect and how we make our products and sell our products, which is free market capitalism, which is what our American government prides itself on. Now with that, animal rights is definitely a big issue. And I believe it's just still very essential to give animals the ability just to be animals and be able to be taken care of, be fed properly, with veterinary clinics available. So with that, I have an idea for an agency to go out and check on these corporations that might seem a little bit suspicious about what they're doing to their test subjects. But keep in mind they're more than test subjects. They could be pets and in our homes.
Thank you. What do you think about the Animal Welfare Act of 1990? How would you change it to make it more effective?
I think that the Animal Welfare Act of 1990 was a very good thing and it needed to be put in place. I do not plan on touching it or adding on to it.
So, building off of what I said before, the Animal Rights Act of 1990 was a very good start. But even way before that, in 1958, there was lab animals like lab rats and other animals for testing products, and that was when the first Animal Rights Act was put into place. That did kickstart it, but not until we actually released another statement about it in 1990. And with that, I definitely feel it is a very good start. And building off of the idea that I had previously with agents coming in and checking in on things, definitely we can build more upon that to make sure companies are using moral and lawful techniques in testing products, even on animals or humans, as a matter of fact.
One more question for PETA. What are your thoughts on pet food regulations?
I have no comment on this subject.
All right, thank you.
Now, pet food regulation. Personally, I have a dog, and he's wonderful. His name is Burner, and he's very cute. Besides that, I definitely feel that with animal rights tying into how we take care of our pets, food is a very important thing. And with our technology today, we don't just have to willy-nilly shoot at a dartboard and see, oh, I hope this pet food doesn't kill the dog. I hope not. But with our technologies, we can really make sure nothing as inhumane and horrible as a pet dying from faulty products happens. So with that, I definitely want to make sure companies can have the right funding and the right materials to make sure their pet food is great for the consumer audience and the pets itself.
On to more questions from the American Jewish Congress. We have, do you believe everyone should have the right to vote, including illegal immigrants?
I believe that if one contributes to society, one should have the right to vote.
Now, with this, for illegal immigrants, it's definitely very iffy. For, like what Mike said, it is good that immigrants can still contribute to our society, but when it's illegal, sometimes that means for malicious reasons. Voting, that wouldn't be a problem, but with that extra guideline set for illegal immigrants not being able to vote, I believe that can really make sure immigrants can get the message of, hey, you came here legally. Legal means bad, probably for maybe a malicious reason. So we want to make sure you are able to be contributing to our society in a good manner.
And we have Will you visit the Middle East if you are elected to form connections with them?
Yes, I do plan on visiting the Middle East and forming connections with them.
Although risky, I believe that it is my duty as possible President of the United States that I can go out and have the bravery to go and make sure we can make good connections, and not just using some message or just a middleman just to say it, because I'm willing to accept that danger. And I definitely know, for a matter of fact, with our Secret Service and FBI and other institutions, that I feel that I'm very safe, even in the Middle East when there is lots of conflicts. So I definitely feel it is very important that I am able to go physically to those places in need and make sure I can make good foreign connections to improve our global presence in the world.
All right. Now back to some questions from Pro-Choice America. What do you think of the Supreme Court decision on overturning Roe v. Wade?
I think that it was an unfortunate event, and I do believe that abortion should not be banned. I think under extreme cases of assault and incest that it should be necessary.
Now, with this case, such as what I said before, states, I feel like it should still rely on states for the federal government, as a matter of fact, should not have as much as a constraint. Once again, we are the federal government. We don't have too much knowledge of what is really going on in each of the states, because each state might have a different situation. With that said, each state might have its own specific views on certain counties if there's more crime and wrongdoing in that part. And although I won't enforce it, I definitely do think it is very important for some abortion rights for such horrible cases such as rape, incest, and other unnamed crimes.
Now, just for some additional broader questions, how would you decrease gun violence in this country? And you can start.
For gun violence, it has been a very, very big issue recently, with many news reports about Sandy Hook and other schools that have been affected by this issue. With gun rights, I definitely feel that although it is in our Constitution, in our Bill of Rights, as part of the Second Amendment for right to bear arms, it still has room to change, such as prohibition. Thinking that making alcohol legal would make things better, it didn't. So with that, I definitely feel that although not getting rid of gun rights, but slightly modifying them so we can really make sure people are using them for the right reasons. With this, I feel like with our funding, with our national funding, we can also have the ability to have people be checked on if they might be doing suspicious activities, and with our police force, this is a very doable thing.
Although I do believe that everybody should have the right to bear arms, I believe people should have the right to bear certain arms, because some weapons are just too dangerous to be in the hands of American citizens.
Thank you. All right. How would you interact with China?
Now, we've had a little bit of a rough history with China, such as communism, coronavirus, inhumane manufacturing laws and whatnot. I definitely feel that, such as me going to the Middle East to create better foreign relations, me sitting down and talking with Xi Jinping would definitely be very beneficial for not only our people, but also China's citizens. And with that, although we can't put laws on China, we can still use the UN in our great nations, our great foreign nations, to check up on China. Not certainly definitely not causing a war, but little things such as just like, hey, are you treating your people properly? Do they have right housing? And whatnot.
I believe that maintaining a good foreign connection with China is going to benefit the American economy as they have a large impact on our trade. I do plan on making sure that we stay on their good side so that we can maintain trade with them.
And final question, should the U.S. work with the United Nations?
With the United Nations, with its founding, its goal was to bring the world together. And definitely with the US being in the UN, it is very beneficial for foreign relations and economic growth. And with that, I feel that American citizens and other citizens from European countries and whatnot, part of the UN, I hope they can feel safe knowing that we have joined their side. So we can let them know we are part of something bigger and better. So we can make sure large global conflicts such as and maybe another nuclear holocaust or whatnot would happen again. So with the US joining the UN, it would be very beneficial.
I believe that the U.S. should stay in the UN because the whole intention of the UN was for peace, and I believe in peace.
Thank you. All right, and now we will have our 2-minute closing, so if you want to start it off.
First, I'd like to start off and say thank you for joining, everyone. It is with great pride and pleasure that I can see all your wonderful faces, so I can know who's voting. For I want to see all of you at the ballots, even if it's not for me. I still want you to do your civil duty as Americans and as citizens of our great country to go out and vote. And when you're there, I want you to think about this debate. I want you to think about future possibilities and what else we can do for our country. For we've made great progress, and by electing me, we can make even more steps to making a wonderful country. Although it will take a while, I'm not saying I'm a savior, but I will say I am a start. Now, I've been in the chair previously, and me going in it again with with last presidency's experience, I can definitely make a change for the better. For I want to see all your faces in the Republican Party and voting for me, James Tarskin. I'd say thank you all, and go vote.
I'm Mike Lewis, and thank you for coming to this debate.
All right, that concludes the Republican Party primary debate. We thank you, both of you, and for our spectators. Well done.
Pleasure.
Good job, you two. Excellent job. All right, we'll head on back.
And
we
see.
That was awesome. Good job, you two. Very contrasting styles. I like it.
Yes.
Good job, Jake. Thank you, sir. Noah, appreciate it. Everything.
Not a problem.